I'm Alyssa.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Sue. Welcome today. You are watching our group, USA Vote. We have prepared for a while now. I'm glad you all came to see our project. We have prepared a glossary for you to watch. Enjoy.
Like Alyssa said, we worked so hard on our project. We tried to get as many people to vote as we could. We did surveys to almost all the people went and voted. We did a blog. We have a video we want you to see. Watch and enjoy.
Did you know more people in the United States will use Facebook than exercise their right to vote? In a country where there's so much at stake, how come so many of us don't vote for the people and laws that decide how we live? Do we think our vote doesn't matter? Or have we forgotten our own history? America's first election came after fighting for our independence, a fight that cost many lives. But the fight was worth it because instead of being ruled by a king, we finally had the right to make our own laws. Well, not all of us had the right, because back then, 1789, you had to own property, be white, and a man in order to actually vote. That continued for another 80 years until after the Civil War, when slavery was abolished. All men, regardless of race, were given the right to vote.
Well, hold up a minute, all right? Just because the law said we could vote didn't mean we actually could. See, all these new voters wanted to participate was threaten the people in power and their ability to stay in power. So they made it more difficult with violence and shady new requirements like literacy tests and poll taxes. We had to fight for nearly 100 years before the Voting Rights Act passed, which finally outlawed these dirty tricks.
And you weren't the only ones that had to fight for the right to vote. We women also got left out and had to organize and fight state by state. Then we took our fight to Washington and finally got the right to vote across the country.
And even once the laws of the land guaranteed every person the right to vote, you still had to be 21 to vote in most states. So when thousands of young Americans were drafted to go to war in Vietnam, young people across the country realized their lives were at stake, and they had no say. So in 1971, the 26th Amendment was passed, giving everyone over 18 years old the right to vote. And since then, young people's votes have been crucial in deciding lots of big elections. Like in 2008, when a black candidate had the chance to become president. Young people showed up in record numbers and made history. And as our numbers continue to grow, so does our influence. Together we can decide the way our country acts in the world, where we spend our resources, and how we power our lives. Who has the right to marry, and who has the right to choose, whether or not to outlaw, and whether or not to legalize. It's up to you to make your choices and shape our future. If we sit on the sidelines, then others will make it work for them instead of for us. So let's make our voices heard. What would it take for you to vote?
America is not strong without a president. The strongest person in America is not the president, Congress, military. It is you. What diversifies our government, our accent, personalities, each one of us uses in this room could be the next president of the United States of America. Just the election decides our future. From colonial America fighting the British to hiding Jewish people from Hitler and breaking through a communist wall of the space race. And through tragedy and triumph, America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, is strong. So our question is, what motivates people to vote for the president, for a president that helped us get through that stuff? Many people we surveyed fought in wars. The World War I was a World War I pilot and talked about the issues in his time. Gas back then, instead of the $4 now, was about 20 cents a gallon. and 5 cents for bubble gum. Now it's $4 for gallons of gas and $1 for a pack of bubble gum. In foreign affairs, for one thing, back then all you cared about was killing or trying to get rid of the other team in trench warfare. Now we have to worry about the terrorists attacking us at any moment, at any possible time. Our issues, gas, money, and jobs, crime is on the rise. What would be the best state president to house that market, like that era? It would probably be why you guys need to vote? Because it's your decision. It's your vote. Your vote can make a difference. It doesn't matter if your races or your marriage. It just decides that you vote to change the election up. Even though our $16 trillion debt, and that is getting passed on to us, and we have to keep on going with that $16 trillion debt and keep on passing it on to next generations and paying it off in like payments with a loan. But America will not die, not until the earth dies with it. And we'll go through occupations and other stuff, but America will survive. It will survive through tough and good times. That will be until the day comes when the earth dies.
There are many different ways to get people to vote, but a lot of people, young American citizens don't vote because they don't care, or they think voting is pointless and the vote doesn't count. They don't have a say in the government, say in the country. But that's not true. That's not true. And a lot of people believe that there's ways to get people to vote, like at the polls, they can put in music or food or drinks, and after you vote, you can go listen or dance to the music and eat snacks and refreshments and refresh yourself. And my favorite, and the one that I like is using social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and MySpace, and etc. And it's a good way to motivate millions of people in the United States to vote. And it's a really good way to get people to vote.
We thank you for coming and watching our presentation.
Any questions?
Comment. I was impressed by the idea that diverse population comes to a single president. So it is a way to bring people together with voting. A lot of times we think of it as divisive. It's not necessarily that. It's a way to mix things up and bring it to one conclusion. But that was very well done.
Very good. Good. Thank you.